Welcome to the 2023 Road Warrior Recognition Awards. Today we have Sue Bowers, who is the Interim Administrative Director of Nursing and Perioperative Services at CHRISTUS Spohn Shoreline in Corpus Christi, Texas. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. Nice to be here. I like different places. I like to see different ways of doing it. I find a similar thread in all of the ORs that I've been in, and in my 40-year history, I've been in quite a few. They're all uniquely the same. Everybody feels like we are different here. We're different here. And I think it's great to see how, yes, we are different here, but we're all the same. We're all passionate nurses striving to do the best for our patients. And I just think it's really interesting to go see how different things are done different places and to bring best practice from one place and learn best practice at another and try to merge and meld all the different areas I go to. So it's really fun. I try to make it very personable, and both in appearance and in the way I deliver myself. Nobody's perfect, and I don't want anyone to think that I think that I'm perfect. I think I can distinguish myself by showing my vulnerability and my humility, and as well as my passion for what I do. So that's what I try to project, as well as my skill sets and my varied experiences of being able to see different areas. So I do bring a wide range of variety in any interview I have. It's very important. It's very important because even though we're all uniquely the same, there are different levels of support. And what I need to know when I go into a place is what's already there. What are my opportunities? Everybody's going to say, fix the FCOTs. We've been trying to for 20 years. Well, you can't do that in 3 months. That takes years. Change the culture. Well, that takes years. So what I need to know is what's the support? What's the organizational chart? What's the bench strength? What do we have going for us? Because that's going to be the basis of what I work on. I know there's going to be opportunities. I don't really need to know what the opportunities are other than one or two. I need to know what's the strength. What do I have to build on? To me, that's very important. I try to take it slow for the first couple of weeks. Nobody likes a stiff broom coming in, ripping off Band-Aids, so to speak. That will certainly put everybody off. And they're like, okay, here's somebody else coming in. They'll be here for a few months. Just nod your head and say, yeah, and do whatever you want. So I try to make it more personable, and let them get to know me a little bit, share some personal vignettes, some good and some bad stories that I know that everything I do isn't right, that we're going to try it one way, we're going to try their way, what we can tweak not I say their way, the existing way, see what we can do to tweak it. We're not going to come in and make major changes. So I try to take it slow and build that trust and build those relationships and let them get to know me more as a person and not perceive me as somebody that's just going to be here for a while and be gone. But we want to put processes in place that will last, that are put there for a reason, that don't get there just while I'm there, but that will continue after I'm gone because it's the right thing to do. Some of the things I've worked on doing is improving the service to our clients, our physicians, our healthcare providers, and word gets around real quick. Those metrics are moved. We're not out of the pandemic. Census is coming up. Cases are coming back. They will hear that we start on time, that our turnover is short, that we have the supplies, that we have the skill sets, or we're working on the skill sets. The word gets around. So word of mouth is so important there, and that is going to bring back the revenue. When they know that this is the place to go because they can get in on time, they can get out on time, their patients are well taken care of from admissions through PACU. Everything is there. So it's not just in the OR, but it starts in admissions. And when they know they can get their patients taken care of, they'll come back. They'll come back. When they know they have accountability for everyone here, they'll come back. Well, there's the bench strength that I was talking about a little while ago. There's the need to know what the resources are and the support that you have, because it goes back to skill sets. And so as the pandemic is over and people that had left to go traveling because the money was good there are wanting to come home or to find a home. And so they come back, and we need to have a good orientation plan in place. We need to have educator. We need to have skills competencies for those people, because it's a whole nother generation out there. And we need to make sure that they're well trained and supported in their training, and bringing in new skills as we have new equipment coming in. So that's the care coordination. It's a team effort. You've got to have an educator. You've got to stay up on competencies. And as an interim, that's something that I look at, is what are we doing on the groundwork to make sure our staff is well informed, well trained. And again, word of mouth is going to be out there that we do things right. We do things in a timely, efficient manner, and the revenue will come back with that. So it's all a big team effort. It certainly is.
Do you find that the need for educators has increased within the last couple of years? And are people really, are they having problems finding educators? Like, kind of what does it look like out there?
I think they are having problems finding educators. I think to find an educator that is an OR nurse that understands, plus the education component, it takes a special kind of person, somebody that has that self-direction and motivation and creativity, and then the interpersonal relationships to be able to teach at the different levels and with the different generations out there. Even experienced nurses, because of the new equipment and the new processes that are there, we need education all around. So I do think there's a great need for good educators out there, and there's not that many. Vigilance. I'll just say that right there. For FCOTS, it's vigilance. It's communication, laying the groundwork, that the surgeon understands that for a 7 o'clock case, you can't show up at 7. You have to be here just like a flight. You have to be at the gate 15, 30 minutes before. So laying the groundwork. And then every day we have somebody that stays at the board and watches. They watch the patients as they come by. And we've made it fun. We give them gold stars. And so every day when they get in the room on the time, they get a magnetic gold star. Big old 2-inch glittery gold star. And can I tell you, they go for it. They go for it. And then we post it on the side. This is our FCOTS today, 5 out of 6, X%, X, and not just the surgeon name, the whole team gets their name written on the board in big old bright letters. And they really do work for it. And I announced that also in our safety huddle. This is what our FCOTS were today, and these were the doctors that are there on time. And I hear back from the nurses stations that it's gone all the way up there, that the surgeon will come back and say, how did my nursing unit know I got here on time? It's because we get that communication out there. So they even get a little kudos from their nurses upstairs that, hey, I heard your name today. You were on time. So constant vigilance on that, and then make it fun. Everybody wants to be applauded. So let's accentuate and celebrate our positives. And everybody wants to get on board with that. That's the way I work with that. That is a more broad spectrum issue, because that involves, if it's the hospital intensivist, with them optimizing the patient, or if it's the surgeon's office optimizing the patient, education, patient pre-op instructions. But you got to look at each and every variation on that. Our cancellation rate is pretty good. It's less than 5% right now. We've brought that down. And that is, again, with vigilance, with looking at the entire process. We broke it down from admission. And then again, holding them accountable with, if you're not optimized, you can't be a first case. So just right there, just stopping it before that. Because when you cancel cases at the last minute, most of all, it's bad for the patient, because they've made plans, they have family, they've taken off work, and now they have to do it all again. So it is very inopportune for the patient. So that's the main thing. We want to make sure that they're ready. There's the relationship with the physicians, and letting them know that we're here with whatever they need, and then following up on that. I have several that have come, and because we worked on it, if it was a new procedure and we needed to get things optimized, I worked with them beforehand, as far as instrumentation and equipment and skill sets, even a dry run. And so when they came, following up with them after the procedure. What could we improve? They're happy with it, tweak it a little bit. They know that we're going to be there with that follow-up. So then they bring more, and that's going to build that revenue right there. And when they come for one big case, they're going to bring a couple of more. Wherever I am, I try to put processes in place for succession. Never know when I'm going to buy a lottery ticket, and if that one lottery ticket I buy is going to be the winner, and then I'm going to be gone. So I always try to look at it from that perspective, and it's a process, not a people centered, but it is a purpose process centered. And so anybody can come in and pick up because it's all laid down. So if you have enough people knowing what's going on, then they can pick up and support it. It's not holding on to that information or that process with one person. The whole team needs to know about it so they can fill in when somebody's out.
Thank you so much for joining us and taking, time out of your busy day to talk with us.
Glad to do it. Thank you for inviting me.